This is the WOODBRIDGE Smart Bidet Toilet 1.28 GPF Dual Flush. It's one of those products I never pictured myself talking about in a quick review, but after weeks of living with it, I've got a lot to say. Just looking at it, this toilet has a modern vibe with clean lines and a really sleek, simple shell. Nothing sticks out too much, and it totally looks like something you'd see in a cool hotel or a newly built model home. Honestly, it feels like it belongs in a fancy bathroom, but I have it installed in a small bathroom and it fits just fine. The finish is super smooth, and the color, mine is white, matches most bathroom styles easily. I'll be straight with you, this was definitely a splurge buy. When we were redoing the bathroom, my husband pushed for this model. At first I thought, do we really need a smart bidet toilet with all these techie features? Regular toilets have worked for, well, forever. But after some back and forth, I figured we'd try it, especially since it's our guest bathroom and I wanted something comfy and low maintenance. I want to talk about the key features that made the biggest impression on me. The first thing I noticed was the auto open and close lid. At first, I laughed about it. Like, who needs their toilet to greet them? But you know what? It's actually super handy, especially if your hands are full or you're just not interested in touching one more thing. Just walking by, the lid senses your presence and glides open gently. It will also gently close itself to avoid loud slamming noises. It's one of those small things that end up feeling like a big quality of life upgrade. There's also a foot sensor on the side, which is great. If you kick your foot at the sensor, the top goes up. There's a separate setting, so if you press again, it'll lift the seat, making it easy for anyone who prefers to stand. No more awkwardly reaching down. Plus, since the bathroom is small, I mounted the remote right across the toilet. That means you aren't fumbling around, everything is within reach. The remote comes off easily, so if you want to change where it is, that's not a big deal. The touch buttons are easy to understand, and there are clear images for each function, which is awesome if you don't want to deal with complicated instructions. The cleaning foam feature surprised me. There's a little compartment for cleaner, and every time you use the toilet, it dispenses a layer of foamy cleanser across the bowl. You can actually see the foam in action at the bottom. It doesn't make the toilet any harder to clean. If anything, it helps, and it leaves the bowl smelling fresh each time. For anyone new to this idea, basically, it's like having a self-refresh system, so the bowl isn't left streaky or smelling weird. Flushing is another standout. You don't need to touch any buttons if you don't want to. The auto flush kicks in after you get up, which is great for keeping things clean and hands-free. The flush is quiet but powerful. The 1,000 gram MAP flushing score means, in basic terms, that it can handle larger messes without clogging. I was a bit skeptical about whether all this technology would mean more breakdowns or clogs. So far though, the flush is super consistent. There was one day when the flush hesitated slightly, but resetting it from the remote fixed things up. No need to panic about it not working. I really like the bidet functions. I never had a bidet before, and it was a totally new experience. The nozzle has options for both back and front cleansing, the pressure is adjustable, and you can move the nozzle forward or backward with the remote. Water temperature can be changed too, so no worries about getting cold water in the winter. There's also a pulsating massage option, which is something I thought I'd never care about but now appreciate. For drying, there's a movement-activated dryer that works with warm air. Is it as quick as using toilet paper? Not quite, but it's comfortable and feels clean. For anyone worried about hygiene, this is a big plus. The heated seat might sound like a silly extra, but trust me, once you've tried it, it's really hard to go back. You can set how warm you want it, which means cold, early mornings or chilly winter nights aren't a big deal anymore. In the summer, I just lower the temp or turn the heating off. It's totally customizable, so I never feel like I'm forced to use a setting I don't want. Just a side note, if the heated seat isn't your thing, just turn it off with the remote. With the seat height at a little over 17 inches, it's actually comfortable to use and easier for me to sit and stand up. That's part of why it's ADA compliant. If you have older family members or just anyone with mobility concerns, it's perfect for that. Even friends who visit notice that it feels a little higher than regular toilets, and they appreciate not having to bend down as far. Having an LED nightlight is another thoughtful touch. It gives off a gentle glow that's just enough to see what you're doing at night without being obnoxiously bright or waking everyone up. You can also turn it off if you like total darkness. All that being said, it wasn't all smooth sailing from the start. Installation turned out to be more involved than I expected. This thing is heavy. over 110 pounds, so definitely not something I could do on my own. We ended up moving the shutoff valve so the connections would fit, and lining up the toilet was a bit of a workout. If you're not into DIY projects, I'd say this is something to call in a pro, or at least another set of hands. Once installed though, I haven't had to mess with it at all. I'd recommend this for anyone looking to make their bathroom more comfortable, easier to use, and just generally more enjoyable. There is a small learning curve, especially with all the customizable settings, but the controls are clear and you get used to it quickly. Honestly, after getting used to not having to touch anything and enjoying how clean everything feels, I don't want to go back. If you're on the fence about spending more for a high-tech toilet, I totally get it. I was hesitant too, but from my experience, it makes daily life smoother, especially on sleepy mornings or when guests come over and gush about it. Plus, it just looks sharp. In conclusion, I'd say the WOODBRIDGE Smart Bidet Toilet is definitely a splurge, but it feels worth it if you value comfort, hygiene, and a little wow factor in your everyday routine. It delivers on what it promises. It's easy to use once you get started, and for anyone new to smart toilets, don't worry, it just takes a couple of uses to become second nature. I'll leave the details about the WOODBRIDGE Smart Bidet Toilet 1.28 GPF Dual Flush in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.